Hey, Mystic Michaela, spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. Today, a bit of a heavier topic. I'm talking about children of narcissists. What happens when you are a child of narcissistic parents and you've been subject to narcissistic parenting, how that affects you in your adult life, everywhere across the board, career, relationships, your relationship with yourself. I mean, there's nowhere that's left untouched. Maybe this is you. Maybe this is a family member. Maybe this is a friend. Maybe this is a spouse. We're going to get in deep today. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. This sounds very deep.
It's deep. No, but it is.
It's
It's a lot. And I'm going to be trying to cover, the gist of it today.
Interesting. Well, it should be very interesting to listen to. I just want to mention a couple of things before we get started.
Housekeeping.
A couple more housekeeping things. I know we did a lot of housekeeping last week.
You're very yellow.
Anything. I know.
You're very yellow lately.
The podcast is turning me.
Are you yellow aura inauthentic?
Yeah, you could tell me. Am I wearing inauthentic yellow?
Not at all.
Okay.
But you're acting a little yellow.
Okay. The other day I asked you if I had any purple.
Yeah, what were you doing that you thought you might be purple? Now that's your new thing. You always think you're inauthentic colors.
Yeah, what was I doing that I was purple? I forgot now.
What were you doing?
I forgot. Hopefully that comes back to me. I actually totally forgot. But I'm like, hey, am I purple? I was doing something creative.
Was it when you were
I was doing some creative writing.
You were doing creative writing?
Yeah, creative writing.
Oh, yes, you were. Yes, and you're like, I'm feeling really creative in my purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that inauthentic purple?
You know what it was? I forget what you were doing specifically, but you felt creative because you were doing like funny humor writing for the podcast.
Right.
You're like, you had all these ideas for this or that, and sometimes you get all excited about it. And you're like, I feel really creative right now. Is that but purples are I need to do a podcast about how every aura color is creative, because each aura color does have the ability to be creative, but doesn't mean that, only purples can be creative.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this podcast brings out the yellow and purple in me. So maybe I'm a yellow purple. But anyway,
wow.
I do want to tell people that to join up with the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family on Facebook.
Yes.
Because the episode after this, the one that's going to air, I think, on the 17th of December, we're going to be doing a huge scavenger hunt.
Oh my God, it's big.
It's going to be great.
This is huge.
Huge. We have tons and tons of prizes.
Yes.
So we'll have a lot of winners. I don't know how many, but like 20, we can have 20, 25 people win.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be a lot.
And we're trying to get everyone prepared, ready for this big hunt that is going to happen. Not this episode that you're listening to now, but the next episode. But you have to be a member of the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family on Facebook to play.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on Instagram, so you have to go there to do it.
You'll listen as you play. Yeah. You're listening to the podcast as you play. And then to submit your answers, you have to be over at the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family Facebook group.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't DM on Instagram the answers. It has to be on that page.
Yeah, it'll be a post that'll be all set up.
Right. And then the other thing, which will be on Instagram, is on December 12th, you're going to be doing the 12/12 meditation live.
Yes.
The 11/11 meditation live.
That was
insane.
Huge. Yeah, on November 11th, we did a meditation live on Instagram. The power of all of us coming together. I get I waited to tell you this till we were talking on the podcast. I get so many messages from people that their manifestations are starting to come true now.
Wow.
From that. And then I did like another one Thanksgiving week. I did the bonus episode 3 is a meditation. So I tried to like piggyback off of that. So if you couldn't make it to the live, you could at least try that, or at least have it for yourself so you can try it. But on 12/12, which I'll talk about more in my posts and stories and stuff like that. Yeah, we're going to be doing another special meditation live on Instagram.
All right, so join us for that.
Yes.
I mean, we had at least a few, I think it was 1,000-something people joined up.
It was amazing.
Well over 1,000 people.
So powerful.
It was incredible.
But like people are crying. You were sweating.
Everyone was like crying. Everyone was in tears. I was sweating.
Yeah.
My manifestation came true.
What was it?
I needed some new pens, and they came. Next day in the mail, Amazon. They were there.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Ballpoint black pens. They were there. That's what I was. That's what I did. I go simple sometimes.
Yeah.
Go very manageable.
Then if you manage your expectations, it's easier to achieve them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, I didn't ask for, a fountain pen. I asked for a ballpoint. And that came. So anyway,
It's just like the cheap Bics.
Yeah, the cheap bags were fine. That's fine with me. I love a lot of pens. You know I'm a pen hoarder.
You guys, it's true. He's a sick affliction. You steal pens anywhere we go. Like, you walk out, I'm like, show me your pockets. You always steal pens from anywhere we go.
Right.
And you don't treat them special. They just get like stuck in the car.
Well, I can't find them ever. It's like you ever like trying to write something, you can't find a pen. It's so annoying.
Yeah, but you have like literally 50 in the car at all times. I'm going to call TLC and say I have a hoarder episode for you. Or My Strange Addiction. That would be better, yeah.
All right. Well, a lot of people, will email us. And a lot of times it's weird. I get I do a lot of the emailing now. Again, yellow again.
Oh, wow.
And it's people that write the nicest letters. Like, very kind in their writing of the letter. But they put in there that they think they're a narcissist.
I know. They're like, hi, I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for living. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. Do you think I'm a narcissist?
Right. And usually it's addressed to you.
Right.
And I have to answer it because that's, what I do. But, even I know from the way that the letter is written that you are not a narcissist.
Right.
So I can, I don't need to go and get you and find you to answer the questions.
Yes.
Because I know myself, like, if you're writing to me in that way or to you, you're not a narcissist.
And the only person that can really tell you that, honestly, like I say, is like a licensed professional. But I do a lot of narcissist stuff because it totally affects you spiritually if you are affected by one. And to the point where if you were raised by one or around one a lot, or you're married to one, or God knows what, and you're an unaware empath, which I talk about on the Flying Monkeys episode, you will think you're a narcissist. You pick them up so much, you'll start to feel like them.
Yeah, and that's probably
what's going on.
Yeah, that's what's
usually.
going on.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, I'll write back, a nice little thing saying you're not a narcissist. But narcissists, as I've learned through doing some research, like to come out on the holidays.
Oh, they do.
The reason being is because they're competing with everyone. Mm-hmm. So now they're competing with Santa.
Oh, God.
They're competing with Rudolph, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, all the rest of them.
Yeah, they don't like that.
The religious figures of the holiday.
It's the narcissist versus Jesus.
Yeah, they Hanukkah Harry. If you're Jewish,
they can't handle it.
Yeah, they just can't handle it.
Yeah.
So they tend to do things before the holidays or during the holiday time that might be a little bit different than the regular narcissist time of year.
Right.
So I wanted to go through those. They
get a little extra, you're saying.
There's a couple of extra things they do. So I wanted to go through those things with you and see what your feelings are on those. Okay. So one of the things that narcissists tend to do before a holiday is they're going to be very argumentative, more so.
Oh, yeah.
And they tend to break up with you right before the holiday starts.
Go.
So maybe this would happen, let's say, 1 hour before your Christmas Eve celebration.
Oh, yeah.
What any thoughts on that? Is this something
oh my gosh,
that you come
into? All the time. Because narcissists can't handle any focus that's off of them. They're too insecure. So, like, if everyone's like, and they can't handle, like, vibrations, like high vibrations that are coming from somewhere else than their own source. So instead of everybody worshiping them or being, they're like, okay, they're gonna do something, like break up with you or start their divorce nonsense. We're getting divorced or God knows what.
Right.
So that they get your attention. Anything to just so you focus on them, negative or positive, they always have to be the center of your universe. So yeah, that's totally a narcissist trick. But the thing is, it's not just once. And it's going to be every single year. They're consistent.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is like, and also it could be like, not only just like, let's say Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that. It could be like your birthday.
Any holiday.
Valentine's. Whatever.
Any holiday, like the narcissist in the family is going to make it about them in some way. And you'll feel them planning for it. So a lot of empaths I see that deal with narcissists end up playing the game by just sidestepping things like, all right, they're going to think this, so I shouldn't do this, so I'll do this, so I'll call 8 times, and then all your energy is still wasted in the narcissist's game. That's why when you play with a narcissist, you're going to lose. If you play, you lose. If you don't play, you lose. You're going to lose. So just accept it.
Okay. Now, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm kind of remembering that time.
Oh, no.
Now that we were talking about this.
Yeah.
That, when I lived back in Long Island.
Yeah.
And it was right before New Year's Eve. It was, New Year's Eve and we were preparing. And, I guess I was in a bad mood. and I took it out on everybody.
Yeah.
And I told everyone, and I said this already on a previous episode of the podcast, that I was going to Roasties. Roasties is like a roast beef joint. So like, screw all the holiday plans for New Year's Eve. I'm just going to go to Roasties myself.
I will say this about you and New Year's Eve. You hate New Year's Eve. So you do tend to sabotage it. Well, before we stopped doing anything for New Year's Eve, now we just stay in and absolutely do nothing and treat it like a regular day.
Correct.
Like you did used to have like issues with it. But this is more like your red person issue, that time is going by and you can't do anything about it. Okay. And you have an issue with your own mortality and control.
All right, so basically...
That's just you.
Right now, I feel I'm a narcissist on New Year's.
I'm
a New Year's Eve narcissist.
You are a New Year's Eve narcissist.
I'm a New Year's Eve narcissist.
Oh, my God.
I just learned this about myself.
You're an NYN.
NYN, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, hopefully I don't fall into the second one.
Okay.
All right, the other thing is the narcissist will tend to exclude you from a holiday event. Mm-hmm. So they might have a work party that they don't bring you to. They just might forget to give you that invitation. They're not going to bring a +1. Is that something that you've come into contact with?
I see that a lot. Like your spouse, like let's say your spouse is a narcissist, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, there's a like everybody else's wife was there. Why didn't you invite me?
Right.
And then they'll project it like, well, you always look a certain way, or you don't really fit in, or they'll do something to make you feel like you're disgusting and awful and terrible. Mm-hmm. And that is a narcissist thing. Or if it's like that's just one. I mean, there's probably so many ways this happens. Like at a family event, like, oh, the whole family got invited, but like one, but we left you out. Ooh. Like that kind of thing. Very common, because again, they just want you to bite the bait and call them out on it so they can make you feel like how they want you to feel.
Could they even be like, hey, I told you all about that. Don't you remember?
They can do that too.
That too? Yeah.
They can lie and be like, you knew and you just didn't say anything, so I assumed you didn't want to go. Like play that game with you. Yeah. At the bottom line with a lot of narcissists is they're very insecure and have a very low self-worth, but they're super fragile about it. So they will use empaths to try to get the empaths to project that onto them, so that so all of a sudden you're like, you feel insecure, and then you feel like you have low self-worth, and then they can just like laugh at you.
Okay. Uh-oh. I'm remembering again.
Oh, no.
So I remember a time when I didn't invite you to this all-night game of Risk that we had, Risk, a board game, at my friend Frenchie's house. And that was about 3 weeks before the 4th of July. So I didn't invite you to it. I think if I remember, it was June 29th, the game that we played.
Remember this.
Yeah. Would that be considered?
I wouldn't want to go to that.
Oh.
At all. That was when you were like 24, and I think a lot of your friends chose not to shower.
Yeah, I was not showering at the time.
And you also chose at that time in your life not to shower.
Yeah.
And I remember never wanting to go where you lived because there was no washing machine, and your sheets were like the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Okay.
So I think I was probably, and I'm not even remembering it as something that was a triggering event for me. So I feel like I was totally okay with that.
Okay. So it was 3 weeks before the holiday of July 4th.
So you're wondering if you were trying to, like July 4th made you narcissistic on that day.
Right. Because 3 weeks prior on June 29th,
right.
I didn't invite you.
It's just funny you mentioned the 4th of July thing, because we had that friend, remember? And she was married to such a narcissistic guy.
Yeah.
And he like made the biggest deal about 4th of July. Remember?
And the biggest works.
Oh my God. He had to have the biggest fireworks display. And like whether you were invited or not was like a big deal. And it was on the street, like a neighborhood street. So like, I mean, just the person next door might just stop out and watch because that's their street too. And then like they weren't allowed to be there or whatever. Remember that?
Yep.
That was so funny. And then he was just crazy. But I just remember that. Narcissists are funnier if you don't know them.
Okay.
Yeah. Like so well.
All right.
You just can kind of observe them.
The narcissist does like to do during the holidays. I love how we say it. The narcissist. It's funny.
The narcissist.
Is elaborate gifts.
Oh.
This could also be kind of like we talked about last week, love bombing. I did notice that Kramer gave our receptionist a car.
Oh.
Yeah, she's driving a new car now.
Oh.
Yep. Okay.
He's
so
flashy.
And the other thing is they always like to tell you about the price. Mm-hmm. And they always like you to bring, and they always like to bring up the gift later on.
Oh my God.
So they always like to tell you the price.
Yes.
Sometimes they leave the price tag on.
Oh my God.
the gift.
Yes, they'll do that.
And they like to bring it up when they can.
And they like to tell you like later too, like, oh, I couldn't get groceries that week because I got you that gift.
Right.
Or that's one way. Or money's funny with narcissists with gifts and stuff because it can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I should do a separate episode about money and narcissists because that's like another way narcissist parents control their kids. They're like, here's a car, here's jewelry, here's money, here's an income, here's this, here's that, here's all this stuff. But like really they do it to look like you're just something they can afford to do that for, so like they'll give you the car in front of people or the elaborate gift at the family event. And they'll, it's really not about you. It's about everybody watching them do it.
Right.
But then there's the other, and I think like the whole thing is if you leave everyone, oh, what a wonderful father you have. Oh, he's so amazing to you. Look at this. And you're just in your head, like he's just doing this for his own ego. It wasn't about me. Or it can go the other way. Like they do absolutely nothing for you, or in like a large setting, they give you like a really terrible gift and everybody else gets really nice gifts in the family. And then you have to sit there and it's your turn to open the gift and it's like awful. Like it's like a broken something on clearance or like whatever. And then because they want you to sit there and be ungrateful. Like they want you to sit there and be like, wow, really? Like they got, this awesome gift card to the steakhouse and I got like these socks. Like that's equivalent. They want you to do that so they can be like, oh, you're ungrateful. Wow. Look at you. Like that's always a setup. That's so funny. But yeah, the price tag, they tell you all day about it. They can't let it go.
Yeah. They keep it up. But
put it on Facebook. Did you tell your friend? Did you see what I got you? Did all that.
Well, I do remember that time that I got you that special gift. It was quite pricey because I had it engraved, and the engraving cost an extra $5.99.
I know what you're talking about.
It was an ornament that said "Merry Christmas, Megan."
Does Things Remembered still
Things
exist?
Remembered? I don't think it exists.
Is that still around? I haven't been to a mall in years.
Can't be.
I remember it was our first Christmas together. And you were like, I got you something, but I have to wait to pick it up. And, I guess what was I? 18, so I was really naive, and I'm, oh my God, what did he get me? Oh my gosh, he's got to engrave it. He went like 3 times to go get it, and like, what is this? And he's making, because you made kind of a big deal about it, and I remember my sister being like, don't get too excited.
Well,
and it was,
I guess she was right.
It was nice, so we still have it.
Yes,
it's on
we do.
the tree.
It's on the tree.
Merry Christmas, love, Scott.
We'll have to take a picture of it and put it on your Instagram story.
But I got so excited in my 18-year-old brain, like, what's he doing? And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the date came and he's giving me the special gift that he went like 8 times, made such a big deal about. And it was just like kind of an ornament.
All right. I mean, now I'm feeling I'm a narcissist on the holidays.
I think you're just oblivious. And it was a lovely gift. And I think that was just me being all 18 about it.
Well, wait till you read the next one I have down here. Now you're really going to think I'm a narcissist.
Oh.
Using the holiday season to gain sympathy. So you tell sob stories. You tell how your holiday was terrible. You tell how you went down to have a lobster dinner by yourself. This is just getting worse for me here. So how badly you were treated, things like that is another thing. They'll come out with their holiday sob stories, which I did a couple weeks ago on the podcast.
You did about Thanksgiving. Oh, Scott, this isn't looking good for you.
This is not looking good.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
Setting up great gestures, but then not coming through.
Oh my gosh! So you are. Oh yes.
Huge plans.
Yes. They want the thank you.
Yes.
So they'll say like, "Hey, I'm getting you, I don't know,
a trip to Aspen.
A trip to Aspen for, we're all going to go this Christmas.
Right.
That's what, would you be okay with that? Does that, are the dates going to work out? Oh, yes, everybody. Yes. Oh, yes, this is great. And then all of a sudden it's like, it didn't happen and you get nothing. But if you mention like, hey, you made a big deal about that, they're like, wow, you're so ungrateful. Like that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's like an over the top one, but even like so they can do that with little things too.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm going to get you these sneakers that you really want. You're like, oh my gosh, thank you. Are you sure? And then they get you like the off brand pair that you didn't quite want. And maybe you're 12 and it matters to you. Like what pair, things like that, and then, but if you say something like mom or dad, nobody's doing this, or you said this, or you said I couldn't. Wow. You're ungrateful. Wow. But again, consistency. And that's the thing. They want you to look like like you're an ungrateful person and they're struggling with money or this is a one-time thing. If you're a child of a narcissistic parent, this is your entire flippin' life. This is your whole life. And people don't get that. So you can sound like a total ingrate. So you never share your stories.
Right.
You know, because you already know how people are going to react. So you don't bother, which is why so many empaths who are children of narcissists just keep quiet about this stuff.
My God. Well, I remember that time.
No.
That I wanted to go to a family reunion in Put-in Bay, Ohio.
Stop.
And we were all going to go. And we talked about it, every detail. From the golf cart we were going to rent.
My dad's going to kill you.
Yeah, your dad's going to kill me. And we did everything in our minds, from getting on the ferry.
You were like...
And I really, here's one thing.
I was trying, you got to get over that. That was 17-ish
This is not actually me. This is someone else that did this.
Oh,
this was
okay.
your dad did this to us.
Yes.
Your dad did this to me.
Yes, he did.
He promised this huge trip. I was so excited to go. I'd never been to Put-in Bay. I still have not been to Put-in Bay. I would love to go to Put-in Bay.
Ohio?
If the governor of Put-in Bay is listening, could you please... I don't know if they have a governor. Mayor, governor.
Isn't it in Ohio?
Yeah, it's in Ohio.
Yeah.
All right, the mayor of Put-in Bay. If you can get me on that island, all expenses paid, golf cart. Golf cart has to come with it.
You really want that golf cart?
I want that golf cart. Because this was promised to me.
Oh, my God. You looked into that before there was such thing as internet.
Yes.
So I don't even know how you know all about it.
And you know what? And this was your dad had said that we were going to go.
That's
and
funny.
just it didn't pull it off.
He's
Whatever.
so mad at you.
But you know what the craziest part about this?
What?
We've heard this was it was a crazy time. Because it was your dad's relative.
Yes, they're fun.
And it's like his relative Petey and all these guys.
Yeah, they're super Irish.
Yeah. And your dad they told him what happened then.
Yeah.
And he was like I heard it was
wild
like
time.
I didn't know any of these people, but I just wanted to go.
No, they're fun. They're fun peoples.
All right. We got two more.
Okay.
And then we'll
That's
move
funny,
on with our ads and then your speech.
You're kind of making it about yourself, though. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Like this whole list, you've kind of made it about you.
That's what I'm saying. I think I am a
Oh, my
narcissist
God.
in the holidays.
Oh.
I'm one. It comes out of me.
It comes out.
The perfect facade.
Oh.
Perfect tree. Perfect holiday lights.
Everything's perfect.
The turkey is perfect.
Oh,
the
yes.
decorations. You might even say there's a holiday light fight going on your block.
Oh my gosh, they're the best. They're the best parent in the whole world.
Yep.
They do the best lights.
Yeah.
Everything. They go caroling. They have marshmallow roasts.
That's right. They do it all.
Everything's perfect.
And I remember that time where I bought an extra inflatable for the lawn to try to compete.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's sad.
an extra inflatable. Bought
That's
an extra
sad.
inflatable.
We're not really great at the lights.
No,
but
we are terrible at the lights.
Yeah.
We've had, some of your fans come by to look at the house.
Well, they don't. That
and
would
they
be
see our
creepy.
light. So they're not fans anymore.
They're like, you know what? We lost faith in them.
Yeah, they didn't do such a
We
great job.
just aren't good with
Yeah.
lights. But no, yes, that's true. They
Yes.
want to make the holiday look So
Yeah.
this is where social media really screws everyone up. I think by now we can tell who the fakers are. I think if you have to put up 400 pictures of your Christmas party, maybe not this year because of the corona and stuff, but if you have 400 pictures, we're all making a pie, we're all doing this, we're all this, smiles, ugly sweater contest, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're just it makes you feel all crappy inside. You're like, wow, they're really great. That's their point.
Yeah.
That is their point. The narcissist's greatest brush right now is social media. They love to just use it, man.
Yeah, man. All right. Next year we'll get those lights better. I would give us right now, because we rate movies, Christmas movies on crystals.
Yes.
I would give us 1 out of 5 crystals. What would you give us?
I don't know. The spirits, we got a cat inflatable, and
Yes.
that thing, I give it a 5. We got a cat.
You
We got a
get
Christmas
5
cat. We got a Christmas
crystals?
cat blow up, and it's flipping awesome.
All
And we
right.
have Frosty.
All right,
Come on.
last one here.
Yeah.
They're going to get you on something small, minor.
They're waiting.
Yes.
They're waiting,
So
lying in
everything
wait.
is perfect. The ham was great. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been giving out gifts. Everyone's around the piano singing Silent Night, Rumpa Pump Pump, the Bob Seger song. Bob Seger has the best version of that. And then you do something very small. They want a glass of water and they're sitting in their chair and you just don't get it for them.
Oh.
Or, something obscure
They're
that they
waiting
want.
on you.
Could you get my socks out of my drawer and put them on me?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be weird.
But
they're going to get you on that.
They'll get you on something.
Yeah.
You didn't help with the dishes or who knows what. They will sit there and they're lying in wait. And I'll tell you, the ones that care are the ones getting attacked. So if you're a child of a narcissist and you just have that vibe where you're like, oh my God, because the thing with being a child of a narcissist is you cannot handle people being upset with you. You just can't, because your whole life, which I'll go into, was totally dependent on other people's feelings about you. So yeah, they're just waiting, and they're just waiting for you to do one thing so they can be victimized and you can be the perpetrator.
Yeah.
And you ruined Christmas, and I've been all this work I did. It's not done until there's a fight.
And, I remember that time we were at a party, pretty much all strangers.
Mm-hmm.
I'd done a lot of work the day before. I power washed my own roof.
Ooh.
And I was just sitting there, and my back was hurting, my shoulders were hurting. And there was a nice gentleman next to me, and I asked him, hey, man, could you give me a back massage?
I don't remember this.
I didn't know what that would, that was Jebediah.
Oh, my God.
That's the origin story.
Yeah, that makes it doesn't really feed in with any of this.
No, it doesn't. All right, so basically I'm kind of a narcissist on the holidays. Maybe I am a little bit.
You're a New Year's Eve narcissist.
Let's go to the sponsors.
All right, so, hey, guys.
On that note,
we have to talk. Okay, so thank you again for always supporting our sponsors when you can. It helps our podcast so much. Modern Fertility is one that I'm really inspired by. What if I told you you could get important fertility insight without going to the doctor or even leaving home? Modern Fertility makes that possible with easy at-home fertility hormone testing. Like I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. At least, I don't know how. Several people a week I talk to in readings, they're having questions about their fertility issues. Can I, can't I? What's going on with me? I think it helps you get a grasp on things. And if you have the information and it comes to your house, you don't have to leave. You don't have to deal with waiting rooms. You don't have to deal with being stressed out in those types of environments. It's literally just in the comfort of your own home. So that's why Modern Fertility was created. It's the easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones with a single finger prick at home. And then you mail it in with a prepaid label, and you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. So it's just answers to you. Traditional testing with your doctor is super expensive. It can cost over $1,000, but Modern Fertility only costs $159 to get the same information. And if you go to modernfertility.com/KYA, you get $20 off your test. Also, if you have an HSA or an FSA, you can use those dollars on Modern Fertility. You'll get insight into how many eggs you have or hormone levels, all sorts of other important fertility factors. The results go deep into what every hormone means and what you can also talk to this a fertility nurse one-on-one to review your results and options for some next steps. So it just gets you kind of like, it's that step to get you launched into, okay, I'm ready to deal with it. Let's just go. It's $139 with this coupon. Let's just do it. If you want kids today, or maybe one day in the future, or you're like me and you just want to know what's going on with your body right now, you need information to make the decision that's best for you. So right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/KYA. That means your test will cost $139 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. So get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/KYA, modernfertility.com/KYA.
Question for you.
Yes.
Do you think Modern Fertility could do that for elves on the shelf?
What do you mean?
Because I think our elf Lizzie might be pregnant.
No, they're not allowed to reproduce.
Are you sure?
I absolutely refuse our elves to reproduce.
Okay, because I think Lizzie's pregnant.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, it's so disturbing.
I mean, I'm a visualizer, so I don't know how that happened.
We have another one, Ernie.
Okay,
That's
like
how
I
that
said,
happens.
I'm a visual. I can't.
I mean, they're very close. I mean,
you've disturbed us all.
Okay.
I'm
sorry. Let's go to the next one.
Segue into Framebridge.
Sorry.
I will say this. I used Framebridge recently. I got the biggest picture you could actually.
It is basically the entire wall. I
went crazy because you upload a photo, like from your phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Or like, there's other ways to do it too, which I'll get into, but like you just you pick the frame and size, but Scott got a little you were a little disturbed by my choice.
I mean, there's like Roman frescoes the size of this. It's almost like the size of the Sistine Chapel or the School of Athens.
Know where to put it? We found a spot.
We actually are going to buy a new house now.
I was like, I need a new house. I always wanted
picture.
a picture above a fireplace. Well, I don't have a fireplace, but I still got the picture. It's like that big. Anyways, it's beautiful. The frame's gorgeous. Like, you love it. The quality of the photo, because they had to blow it up a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks perfect.
From a thumbnail photo or something.
Yeah,
right?
it was. Yes, and it's like absolutely gorgeous. So FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever. Super affordable to frame your favorite things without ever leaving the house. From art prints and posters to the photos sitting on your phone, you can FrameBridge just about anything. FrameBridge is also the perfect way to give easy and thoughtful gifts, which my relatives will know this year because I did. You're getting it. In just minutes, you can turn a photo from your phone into one of your best gifts ever. Just go to framebridge.com and upload your photo. That's it. It's like as easy as that. There's tons of frames to choose from. Or they'll send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces, and then they'll do it for you. Preview your item online in dozens of frame styles and gallery wall layouts. So there's no questions. Like, I knew I was getting the biggest one. I chose it. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from the talented designers. The experts at FrameBridge will custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece straight to you or anyone on your list. They'll send it right to you. That's what I'm doing. A handcrafted, personalized gift from FrameBridge starts at only $39, and all shipping is free, and it's shipped so well, I have to tell you. Plus, my listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use my code KYA. Very cool stuff. So get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code KYA to save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code KYA. That is framebridge.com, promo code KYA. And you can get a littler photo than I did, or you can get my huge photo.
Right. Well, now speaking of all the packaging, that is now a home for the elves. They actually have a mansion.
It's true. So my daughter's.
Now you know why Lizzie and Ernie are living the dream.
Because Abby took the huge box from this huge FrameBridge package I ordered, and she made like an elf mansion out of it.
There's an elf mansion.
Oh my God, you're right.
They have a sauna. They have a pool.
No, they do. She colored
they have
all
a
this.
huge mailbox. They have like a tree
loves
house.
That box got more play than any dollhouse or object or toy in years.
I mean,
just get FrameBridge for the box.
Just get the box.
It's a great box.
Yep, sure is.
All right, let's get into it. So let me start off by saying all families are dysfunctional. It's totally normal, actually, to not have a normal family. Everyone has something. Why? Because we are humans raising humans. So we will, of course, make mistakes. And for the most part, we do come from imperfect people, and we are imperfect ourselves. And a lot of the aura reading work I do via spirit is about this. It's programming. It's separating what you were taught to be, who you were taught to be, and the roles you were taught that were best suited for you may not all be correct. And the realization of this and the separation of this I can see in aura color. And basically, this is what I try to do on this podcast and in my readings and anywhere I can, because basically that's the point of this whole aura thing for me. Because when you know who you are, you can align to your soul contract goals immediately, and then life happens at a higher vibration, thus creating a wonderful life for you and the people around you and society in general. Just living authentic does take work for any single one of us, no matter how happy or awful your childhood was. You have to just take a step back and be like, okay, what did they teach me versus what is me? And just take that separation. It's a step we all go through. It's transformative to do that. And we've all been there. Today, though, I'm talking about dealing with a narcissistic parent. And that's a different type of look at things than I would say most other people. If you have a narcissistic parent, this isn't as simple, which isn't simple at all, but isn't as simple as just a regular imperfect parent. It's something which messes with your spiritual, mental, and physical body to the point of complete absorption into the narcissist. And I will see it go one of two ways for the children of the narcissist. Either they are aware of it or they become it. And sometimes, even if they're aware of it, they were at one point part of it, or they were it, or they became it without understanding. They're unaware. Because to survive with the narcissistic parent, you have to take ownership of every single fault and every single pride that belongs to them. You are no longer you. You are an extension of them. You are not a person. You are an appendage of their ego. And the most insulting thing you can do to the narcissist is exist separately from them, is to be your own separate person, is to do anything which creates a boundary between them and you. So you either break from it or you become it. There is no in between. And that's hard. And that is not what most people have to deal with their parent units. In episode number 6, I do talk a lot about narcissists and their traits in more specificity. So I talk about because any aura color can be narcissist. It displays differently based on the aura color. And I would say around the 20-minute mark of episode 6, I know this because I've sent so many people there, I go right into how each aura color displays narcissism if they're narcissistic, just so we have that. But moving forward, narcissistic parents live through their child. They are possessive of them and even competitive. The thought of their child living an independent life is, quite simply, a threat to them. They will only allow the child to receive love if they are existing in the shadow of the narcissistic parent. And over time, you learn deep down at a very young age, you are only lovable as a servant to their ego. Not as yourself, not with your own ideas, not with anything you do. Anything that you are or become or have, you have to accredit to them 100%. That is living with a narcissistic parent, and then it extends to your adult life, which I will get into. Listen, there are many parents who push their kids, who live vicariously through them, or who have super high expectations that can be toxic or dysfunctional and obviously affect a person in their life moving forward. But the narcissistic parent's different. The narcissistic parent does not see the child as an individual. That's the first thing. You're not a person to them. They see their children as objects that exist only to serve their own ego. They have no outside identity from that. Any independent thought, any success, any moment where the child is on his or her own becomes fodder for criticism, abuse, or ridicule. In short, there is no room for the child to be special. Only the narcissist can be special. And if there is an occasion where the child is special, they are ashamed for it. And the child learns early on to avoid being special, to avoid in all areas of life, to stand out. And as they grow, this just parlays into relationships with all people. They attract other narcissistic relationships where they can continue to live in a shadow, be invisible, avoid the spotlight, at work or in love or in the family or anywhere. They avoid feeling special anywhere in their life. They simply become invisible. They were taught something which now lives deeply inside their subconscious, that the only way they are lovable is if they are invisible scaffolds of the egos to others. You're only worth something if you're holding up other people's perceived identities and protecting them from criticism or feeling unsuccessful. It's crazy because I'll even see this, I do so many readings. And it always goes back to childhood, but usually the reading will start with my ex-husband, okay? And I have the kids, and, he says all these things to the kids about me, and obviously the ex is a narcissist, and I still see them protecting the narcissistic ex. They'll let the narcissist ex say all sorts of horrible things about them to the children, but when they get the kids, they don't, not that you have to say horrible things, but you can have your own, I don't like how daddy spoke to me today. I do not agree with how mommy said this to this person. That is not a belief that I myself, they don't speak up for themselves because they're still protecting the other person. Because that's what you're taught. And it always goes back to, they probably had a narcissistic parent. You were somewhere along the line taught as a child of a narcissist that your only value is to really protect, and block. Even when you don't like them, that's what you do. I am by the way, obviously, in no way a psychologist or psychiatrist or a professional on any of this. I don't diagnose people or anything. I just look at this from an energetic perspective because, like I said, I see in many readings, people have suffered from parents who are going through things. Maybe parents were self-centered growing up or childlike, or they have their own wounds that they get triggered by. I see parents who have struggled with addiction and mental health issues, or who are just very closed off to emotion. And yes, this affects the child 100%. And I see this all the time, as they become adults and they're getting a reading now. I just see it, how it affects the person spiritually. And that's what I'm talking about today, the spiritual effects of this. The difference, I would say, with narcissists, the narcissistic parent versus just, someone who went through some stuff, is the absolute intention that they are right all the time. The absolute intention that they completely believe themselves to be correct, and that they do not wish their child's happiness or safety over their own. That's they don't see their child as a person. And it's consistent. It's not just like a phase, or mom went through something and then she snapped back out of it. No, it's all the time. They are consistent. And furthermore, the narcissistic parent will work to make sure everyone sees the exact flippin' opposite, okay? So oftentimes, these children are so infused in the narcissist's parent's life that people may constantly say, oh, how lucky you are. How lucky you are to have so-and-so as a mom or dad or whatever. And in actuality, that that there's no escaping this facade that they put on. And furthermore, you're supposed to support it. Oh, yes. People think parents of narcissists, children of narcissists, they're best friends, or they have this great relationship. That's just a facade. Yeah, they're close because it's a really manipulated relationship. Or, like I said, there's a total shut off of the relationship. That's when estrangement happens. So it's one or the other with the narcissistic parent. So the narcissist, according to the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, exhibits 5 or more of the following. So 5 or more of the following is usually exhibited by a narcissist, just so we know what we're dealing with here. So a grandiose sense of self-importance. They have... they have stories from their past. I was the best, maybe you got a lead in your choir. Okay. Maybe you're 16 and, oh my gosh, you got the lead in choir. Oh, when I was 16, okay, here's mom. When I was 16, I was in all the plays and I did 10 times what you did, little things like that. You get a job somewhere and then you get a promotion, you're 28. I got a promotion. Oh, when I was your age, I had already had 3 promotions. Anything, always the one-upper, self-important, grandiose, I made all the money, I filled this, I did this, I'm your hero, right? Aren't I your hero? All the time, grandiose. Preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Oh, everyone hits on me. I can't go anywhere with everyone falling in love with me. Everyone falls in love with me. Or, oh, I got asked to do this, but I turned it down because, they didn't get asked to do anything, but let's say you get asked to do something. Oh yes, I've been asked to do that, but I didn't want to sell out or whatever, or I didn't want to be away from the children. So they can kind of if you have something going on, they'll go over it and tell you how, oh, I could have done that too, but I didn't because, I chose, basically saying you're selfish. So that's a big thing too. Belief that one is special and can only be understood by or associate with special people or institutions. This is I'm better than everybody else. The narcissists truly believe, they just feel like they're better than everyone else. They'll go to Disney World and look around and critique the people there. Oh, this place is just because I've heard this from so many people who were dating. There's something about Disney World and narcissists, okay? Let's just go through that real quick. I just read so many people, their spouses who, if they had a narcissistic spouse, would always put down people at Disney World or just the way that they parent or dress or their bodies and things like that. They felt better than the people at Disney World. They love to go there and just put people down. I don't know what it is about Disney that triggers narcissists. It's a thing. I want to know if I'm correct about that. Like, this is my limited scope, just doing readings. But this is something that is so consistent, it has to be a thing. I feel like narcissists have a real issue with Disney World. I don't know. I need more research. But like, aside from that, like, they feel they are the most special, and they can only be friends with other people who are special. A need for excessive admiration. They need adulation. You're so beautiful. You're so thin. Did you lose weight? Oh my gosh, you're so handsome. Everybody was looking at you. Did you see how they were paying attention when you walked in the room? They need that. A sense of entitlement or special treatment. I went in to get my nails done. They better all be lining up to see me. And I had to wait 5 minutes at the doctor's office. No, I don't think so. Just walking into the manager, did you see how they dismissed me? I asked for ranch dressing 3 times. Get over here, waitress. Give me 8 more straws. Just the way that they talk to people is very off-putting. Exploitation of others, money, they're users, con artists, sex. They use people for that, use people for anything, like take me here, take me there. They don't feel bad about it. They just use people all the time. Depending on what their preferences are in life, they'll just, exploit people. A lack of empathy. They'll pretend to have empathy, though. They'll pretend to have empathy. But then when it comes down to it, they really don't. So it's just, you'll see they have empathy for themselves. But when it comes to other people, they just put that away. They don't extend their own self-interests to possibly like other people having the same self-interests. Envy of others, or the belief that one is the object of envy. Okay, so did you see my sister-in-law? She's going away again. All that money. All that, but and then she'll say something critiquing about it, or dad saying, narcissistic father maybe saying something, but you hear this growing up your entire life. And when you're a kid, you believe it. You believe it when you're a kid. This is like dogma. This is doctrine. You believe this stuff to be true. And I'm going to get into this later. Then you become defensive of it. So when you have a friend or a spouse who's like, what are you talking about? Your mom's not like this so great. You're like, don't say that, because that was your whole life. Everyone's jealous of me at work. That's why I didn't get promoted. They're jealous. They know I'm better than them. That's why I don't get the clients and they took them. It's a conspiracy against me. Arrogant, haughty behavior or attitudes. Just the better than thou kind of thing, no matter what. They do not put that down. So 5 or more of those. They typically have, the thing is with narcissists, is they typically have a very low self-esteem and a terrible need for constant admiration and adulation because of it. So when they have children, it's like the perfect storm here. It's the perfect case scenario for the narcissist can happen. They literally created a fan base. They biologically created a fan base. A total caregiver of all their ego needs, a person who will be survival dependent upon pleasing them. What, you have a kid, they're survival dependent on you. Like, you're an infant, you're 1, you're 2, like, that's your world. Like, how mom or dad reacts to you, that's like everything. And they can create a machine, basically, where they are completely caretaken by their children without giving them any credit for that, by the way. So that's a person, this child becomes totally survival dependent upon pleasing them. They have their mother's or father's love. They use it, they manipulate that towards the child for their own emotional voids. I think we fail, and that's what it is like if you have a narcissistic parent, this goes deep. This goes so deep. And as I'm going to get into, you don't know anything different from it. So if you grew up like this, you have to relearn what love is, because you don't know what it is right now. And that's something that you probably, if you're listening to this, you probably already have an idea, just based on enough patterns that have gone on for you that haven't worked out. Another thing which really separates narcissistic parents from other types of parents is that they don't want the child to be independent or successful. Most parents are like, oh my God, please get a job. Please get a job. Please get a job and be successful. And oh my God, I can brag about you to my friends and I'm just going to be so proud of you and I can put all your pictures and your awards up and everything. Nope, that's not what it is. Like they'll pretend to be like that to other people. But to you, they twist it. So it's like, oh, you're going to school? You're going away to school? Oh, you're going to leave us, or you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Oh, you're doing, my mother's dying. You're going to school this semester? Well, your grandmother's sick. I need you home. Little things like that you would never, now, maybe at the time you don't get it, but maybe you grow up, you see different situations, you have kids of your own. You're like, oh my God, the things I was asked to do that I would never ask my own child to do. Well, that's because you are not supposed to do things for yourself. You're supposed to be a constant support system. And like I said, life happens. So I'm not talking about like just once in a while. Like something's going on, mom's sick, you have to be there for her, you drop everything. No, this is all your life, your entire life. It's consistent. It's not just like once in a while because life happens. It's consistent. And they'll make it look like it's a life or death scenario. It's just that it's all the time. That's the difference. Yeah. But then they'll also twist it to make it look like you're not coming, oh my God, she wasn't there for me during this. And like, from the outside perspective, which they've created you to be dependent upon, you look like a terrible child. If you're a child of a narcissist, they will say that is a punishment, which I'll get into. So yeah, so you won't ever find them like bragging about their child so much. You'll find them bragging about how their child is successful because of them, because of what they did or how they themselves parented the child, or because how this child, she got it from me, she got it from me, or he got it from me. You notice these caveats, these little Easter eggs when someone's talking. The narcissists show themselves. They're very predictable. There's no credit ever given to the child of a narcissist, and the child learns that they are completely and utterly worthless and void of any value unless they're supporting the parent. Like, you get a Nobel Peace Prize? Well, you weren't here for Christmas, were you? It's just whatever it is, they bring it back to them. You only get praise if you support the narcissist. The best praise you get is doing something for the narcissistic parent. Like making them toast and bringing it to them will get you more frickin' praise than getting like your master's degree. Okay. Like that, I'm not, that's how it works. Like, okay, good job. Well, I can't make it, whatever. But oh my God, you make me, nobody cooks for me like you do. Nobody does. You see, the praise is in the wrong spots. You get the praise for showing them love, not the praise for doing something for yourself or your family or for, something that works for you in your life as you grow. So the damage to the child of a narcissist is strong. There are so many examples. They hide themselves. So if you're someone, dealing with this, or you're somebody, somebody dealing with this, like it's your spouse or your friend, it's important to understand that at first it's not clear. Like the child of a narcissist does not know what a normal relationship looks like. So this could be you, this could be your spouse, this could be a friend of yours. This is so important to understand and give empathy to, whether you're trying to help yourself, like I said, or a spouse or a friend. They don't know what normal is. You might not know what normal is. And the ego, which is the human part of us that likes everything to stay the same, can get very defensive at first when digging under these layers of abuse that the narcissistic parent has had years to inflict, because it's enmeshed with their utter being, that they don't have any sort of clarity as to the way things are without this manipulation. Like I said, like you were hearing your whole life, this dogma, like, everyone's jealous of mom, mom's the best one, mom's the most special, mom's is this, mom's is that, mom's victimized by people who are jealous of her and this. And then when your husband is like, your mom's not that great. It's like, oh, don't say that. How could you say that? And then if you don't stop to look at it and be like, oh my God, wait a second, it could cause problems in your own relationships. So you got to give them a little bit of space, a little bit of time, a little bit of understanding as they deal with it. Which leads me to the first thing, boundaries. Those raised by narcissists don't have them. So what are boundaries? Boundaries are barriers between you and your outside environment. It's the thing that can help us to stand in our truth, to do what's best for us, even though We know others might not approve. It's the thing that helps us seek our own self-interests when necessary for success or love or basic survival. Well, when you are a child of a narcissist, that's the first thing that's taken away. There are no boundaries. Your body, your mind, your very essence is theirs from day one for the taking. Their self-esteem is so low if they are denied even the tiniest thing from their children that they want. I mean, it's unthinkable. Like, the child will feel completely unlovable. They just give whatever you need. I'm here for your taking. I'm a well for you to just take from. Drain me. That's what they were taught. That's how they were taught to be lovable. So there are no boundaries. So the thing is like how you were parented is how the world treats you. So if that's how you were parented, then you go out to work or you have friends or you have love relationships, and it's just going to keep happening until you see it. People just take. Yeah. So you can take this in many ways. There are so many ways a narcissist parent, depending on their own levels of abusive intent, can take it. Sexual, physical, mental, verbal abuse. It depends, on that individual's intention. There's obviously a spectrum of how bad this is going to be. I've read all sorts of bad, okay? And so it gets pretty disturbing on some levels. I had a reading with a woman who was severely beaten by her mother her entire life. And this woman beat her every day. And it wasn't what you would even call, like, air quote, normal, air quote, maybe, beatings, which I don't think that exists, but maybe in certain generations it does, like little swats on the bottom or something like that. No, this was severe beating every day. And you'd never know it looking at this woman. I mean, my client, she's beautiful. She's got children. She works. She's together. Because the people who are really hurt in life, man, they, at first, before they deal with it, they know how to swallow that. And she did. And so the mom, such a narcissist, she has to cook for her mother. Every week, the mom comes over to her daughter's home. The mom still critiques and ridicules. Says her daughter doesn't do enough for her. Still abusing her, not physically, but verbally and emotionally and whatnot. The mother never says thank you, never does a thing. And the daughter just swallows it, always swallows the anger. But you know what? She had a kid. Okay, so now she has a son. And the mom started, she's starting with the grandson, getting on his actual level and trying to take away his boundaries. The little boy, who is about 3, didn't want to hug her or play or do whatever. I mean, he's 3, you know what I mean? And I always say, if somebody gets personally offended by a child, there's something wrong with them. That's right there, red flag. If someone's pissed off that a 3-year-old won't hug them or something, or a kid, or 6 or 7 or any age, it's a kid. Move on. There's something wrong with you. Okay. Well, the grandmother saw this as her grandson needing discipline, and she swatted him on the bottom and critiqued her daughter's parenting. Well, all of a sudden, the daughter, she had the epiphany. It happened. There it was. And I see this a lot with the child of a narcissist. They won't see it happening to themselves because of their own self-worth. It has been so destroyed that they don't feel worth of any sort of kindness or good treatment. But when she started directing it towards her son, started attacking his boundaries, well, my client freaked out and just cut her mom off completely. This has been devastating to her. The whole family's against her, because the narcissist calls in their flying monkeys, which are basically unaware empaths who absorb the agenda of the narcissist and attack the narcissist's, I guess, victim. Totally attacked, totally isolated, totally cut off. And she's devastated because as a child of a narcissist, the only source of any love or approval has been what she could absorb from her mother. And she basically, when she cut out her mom, that was her source of light. That was her sun. That was her moon. That was anything she could count on or to call love her entire life, except her kid. That, you know what I mean? That helped her. She just got it from somewhere else. And although it's right to do this, she's suffering. This is painful. It's bringing a lot of anger to the surface and a feeling of bottomless because she was never taught to connect to herself, only to seek it from outside sources. So when you cut out a narcissist, or when you even have a confrontation with a narcissist, or just a minor agreement with your narcissistic parent, you can feel shaking, empty, panic, anxiety. It's horrific. And the children of narcissistic parents will do anything to avoid that. But that was her moment. Like, she wasn't going to let her kid be the victim the way she was. Because on to my next point, the narcissistic parent does not let the child have any source of light, of approval, or connection to anything aside from themselves, even God. Like, even in religion or something, they can get jealous of that, or teachers, or friends, or other relatives, even a flippin' pet. I notice in narcissistic families, the siblings never get along. I'll see that the only person who can have a relationship with anyone is the narcissist. There's narcissist, dad with the brother, narcissist dad with the sister, but no in between relationships. They'll isolate the child's source of approval, and instead of teaching them to get it from their own connection with source and self, and their conscience, they are to get it from one person, the narcissist themselves. No one else matters. The next thing with children of narcissists, they're beyond sensitive. They're very insecure, and they're completely unable to see themselves as good or worthy or lovable. They feel the need to be doormats, basically. And what does this lead to? Relationships, which mirror that. They subconsciously attract similar relationships in work and in love for basically the rest of their lives. The thing is, and this is with all parents and children, like I said, the way that you are loved is the way you will continue to be loved, good or bad. Like I say, we don't do what's good for us. We do what's normal for us. It's that ego wanting to stay the same. So if we were trained to be doormats, that's what we will continue to seek out, even though we don't want it. And until we see the truth and start working on it in a spiritual awakening, it's going to be the same pattern. The way you have a relationship with mom or dad becomes a pattern for the whole world. If mom abused you in some way, you will find relationships, friends, and work situations where the same thing happens. And when you see it, it's mind-blowing. But first, you have to want to see it, and then it just unfolds. It is crazy how clear it gets once you look. It's horrific for a child of a narcissist to confront their own egos, their own choices, which have gotten them to places they'd rather not be because of the insecurity. They absorbed it from the narcissistic parent, the person who couldn't love themselves, the person who couldn't take any personal responsibility and avoided the truth with all they had. And the child of a narcissist can recreate that. They were taught that their only value was to be a self-help coach for the parent, the good one, or the person who just rolled over and took the abuse. And that was their value, the garbage can. When your whole life you're treated like an accessory, it's hard to go out and feel like something else, something of intrinsic and independent value. It's hard, and it takes work, but it can be done, but you have to see it first. When you were told your whole life that you are disappointing, or when you do something for yourself is selfish, or when you try to be successful on your own, you just avoid that to no end. When your only source of love was based on how much you could make them happy by giving up yourself, you just keep doing that in every single relationship you have, and with yourself first. You push a lot of your own stuff away, a lot of your own thoughts and feelings, and that's where you have to start reclaiming it in yourself with your own thoughts and feelings and not dismissing them and not judging them, just letting them come to you. I found that some children of narcissists who are still unaware do assist in their parents' grandiose behavior, and that spouses may notice this first. Like, you can't attack dad, he's the best, or mom is this or that, and she's just so underappreciated because people are jealous. They will support the genius of their parents and defend to the death any sort of critique to that. They have been owning this, you understand, their whole lives. It's hard for people to let that go and see that it's not them too. They have been using their parents' insecurities as their own personal thing they must uphold and protect. That has become their identity at some point, the protector of. It's hard to drop that. I had a client reach out to me that her husband didn't see how horrifically narcissistic his own mother was, how she manipulated everything, and he just went along with it. And although he himself seemed like miserable at how he was treated and how even it affected their own family and marriage, he would not talk to his mother about it. He just wouldn't. That he would not even take a moment to say logically and unemotionally, like to his own wife, like, yeah, this is probably dysfunctional. Like, he wouldn't even do that. Here's the thing. It is okay to say that your parents weird. Like, it to be like, my family's weird. That's normal. If you can say that, you guys can all laugh about it. Like, that's normal. But there's something with the knee-jerk reaction is to not say it and protect it and don't talk about it. That's scary stuff. That's really bad. That's somebody not wanting to deal with it because there's a lot of stuff behind that door. You know, we all have tough families, and someone who is so defensive of their families is usually an unaware empath dealing with narcissistic parents. And they were so taught to defend and shut down that they don't know any different. If you agree with the narcissist, you're loved. If you disagree, you are rejected. Now, it's hard to watch your 35-year-old husband do this, as my client was saying, but I was telling her that part of him that she's seeing, that was her 4-year-old husband inside. That's his inner child. He is terrified of being rejected because the love of that parent has always been conditional upon his upholding of their own ego. And if he puts that down, he will be unloved. And he has not made the connection that he does not require that love to survive anymore. At 4, yeah, he did. At 35, no, he does not. But that's the power of the narcissistic parenting. It creates this agreement in oneself where you do not disassociate the logic here. The reality changed, but that terrified inner child is cemented in that belief. So because of all this, they take that parental love and they apply it to everyone around them. They feel perpetually not as valuable in every single context of their life. So in jobs, they don't speak up. They don't ask for more responsibility. They don't self-advocate, relationships and friendships. They are terrified, deeply terrified to challenge others. They tend to find narcissistic personalities to be friends with or have relationships because, hey, they know how to please them. They know how to be their friend or partner. Narcissistic relationships are more normal to them than people who aren't. That's a mystery. People who aren't narcissists, that's stressful for them. Thus, they can feel more successful in narcissistic relationships because that's what they're used to. They are so unsure of themselves, these children of narcissists, that they can't make choices for fear it's the wrong one, and they will be rejected by society, by life, by others, and themselves. They are super worried by what others think of them. They are very insecure and untrusting of love because they've never received it in a real and pure and unconditional way, the way that it's meant to be received. I had a client, and he had no dad, but a very narcissistic, abusive mother, and not tons of therapy and stuff like that. But he revealed to me the dog came up in the reading is what happened. This dog that died, and the dog came through, but the dog didn't come through. I mean, all dogs come through and they love you, but this dog was motherly to him. The dog obviously was passed. Basically, it turned out that he was so terribly abused by his narcissistic mother, just verbally and emotionally and spiritually constant, that the only happy memories he had was with that dog. Like, he would go sleep with her in the doghouse outside. If it weren't for the dog, he accredits the dog with saving him. He may not have ever known unconditional love if it weren't for that dog. And that mom was so jealous of that dog. She never let it come inside. It wasn't allowed to come in. Narcissists, can you imagine being so insecure of a dog? Narcissists can't handle anything that takes the light off of them, even a little bit. When you take a step back and start to see this as a child of a narcissist, your whole life kind of falls into scope. It's so clear. But the light was off the whole time. You were in the room. You were there. You were in it. But the light was off. And it's just like somebody just flips on the light and you're like, whoa. It can be super overwhelming. And the thing is it takes time. It takes time. You can't just get over it. And because it happened so young to you, it's something that needs to be taken with a lot of patience and a lot of self-love. You have to give yourself time. It's not easy to go through this stuff. And as you do, trust me, more comes up. But as you grow and see it, and as you use your spiritual awakening to help you understand that the source of unconditional love is from within, that it's from that which is greater than us, you can see that you don't need that conditional love from the narcissist. And that's what the spiritual journey of this is. Actually, being a child of a narcissist and opening up to that and seeing where it affected you, you can actually create such a strong connection with your higher power. Your spiritual awakening can be extremely powerful. But it takes time. It takes time. And it's sad, though. You mourn it, and you have to let it go. But it is a lifelong journey. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And as it is with anything which brings you closer to yourself, It's hard, but it's worth it. And I find that many people who realize this are such benefits to those still going through it. They're so wonderful to those who are needing encouraging words, because I would say that the most horrific thing the child of a narcissist experiences is the feeling of isolation, of loneliness, and that they are never going to be understood or loved or seen. Just the fear of it being taken away from them. But guess what? You are so seen. You are all so seen right now by the light that is within you, by the light that holds us all in unconditional and abundant love. And I hope you feel that right now. I hope you feel that light shining on you and giving you abundant love right now. Hey, Scotty.
Hey guys. That was intense. So I think on a serious note, I think that'll help a lot of people. I think, like we said, a lot of people, especially the indigos and the blues, and they don't sometimes know their own feelings from others. And I think I think what you did today is fantastic.
Well, there's so much more you could go into it, but maybe just if that is you, or somebody like that, it can just be kind of an initial nudge to maybe just look at things in a different way.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to remind people as we wrap it up here, please join the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family on Facebook. Again, we're going to do a cool scavenger hunt in next week's episode, so we hope that you'll all join the group. It's a fantastic group. A lot of indigos, a lot of blues, a lot of empathy in that group. If you
of purples too, and yellows, and turquoises, and a couple star seeds.
Couple star seeds, yeah. We have a few star seeds.
We have our star seed crew.
We got all colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
But it is definitely a place where people help each other, and they're very empathetic.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This podcast is for you and about you, and I appreciate you all. You take care.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy Podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing whilst you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies, and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. Then cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy Podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app.